Greetings, everyone. I'm Prajini Patha, and I'm the chairperson of AAXO, the Association of African Exhibition Organizers. And as part of our series of interviews, talking points with experts and leaders in the industry, today we have the privilege of speaking to Jacqui Nel. And Jacqui Nel is the founder and the owner of Exhibition Freighting, who many of you probably know. And she is the chairperson of IELA, the International Exhibition Logistics Association. And she is the chairperson of the Industry Relations Working Group for IELA. So we're very excited to have her with us. She has a wealth of knowledge, having been in the industry since the 90s. So thank you, Jacqui, for joining us today. Tell us a little bit, firstly, about...
Thank you, Prajini.
Tell us a little bit about IELA and Exhibition Freighting. We want to hear a little bit where you're coming from for those people that don't know you.
Okay, so IELA is the International Exhibition Logistics Association, and all your exhibition companies like ourselves belong to IELA, and it's worldwide. So in just about every country around the world, there's representation, and it provides credibility to our businesses. It means that you can be working with me and the same procedures that we work with in South Africa. Other agents around the world are doing exactly the same. So there's a consistency between the exhibition agents. They also have their papers on health and safety, on sustainability. They've got a special portal for organizers to go and view, and for exhibitors that need assistance. So they've really got a wealth of information on their website for anybody who's needing to know anything about exhibitions. So it really is a fantastic a worldwide association. Exhibition Freighting is part of that. Obviously, it's bringing also that we support the industry, and that we also work within the guidelines as well. So, yeah.
Now, being at the forefront of this industry and being in, talking obviously with all the other companies like your own currently, how has this affected your industry, your particular bit of our exhibition industry? I know you're part of our ecosystem, as I've been talking about, to all the suppliers. We all work together. But how has it affected your bit of that?
I think it's a shock to anybody, and I think like any company, I think we all felt the shock of it. I think it took us a few weeks to get over that shock and adjust to what our new norm was going to be like. I think worldwide, as far as our company is concerned, the exhibition logistics companies, and looking at IELA, I think most of us have managed, we are surviving. It's just meaning that we're having to put our strict financial practices in place. But I think all of us have survived if I look around worldwide, which is actually really very good.
So, I think we all, right now, I think what's really important and what's great is working together, like we chatted earlier, as associations working together and working hand in hand, bringing the industry together in order that we can all learn from each other. So can you give us some tips or ideas in terms of how the logistics industry what have they been doing to help sustain themselves currently?
So IELA have really been very fantastic. I think they kind of allowed us the first month to get our lives in order and recover from the shock. And they then started doing weekly sessions of actually, all right, we're now in the situation. We've now come to as far as we can get. What are we going to do? And they've started a recovery program, which I think is fantastic. So every week, it's coming up, okay, so you're in the situation, what are you going to do to recover? What are your new ideas? And it's really the association, and I mean, we have over 100 people coming on every week from around the world, and it's tapping into that mindset of what are we all going to be doing, and what are your new ideas? Is there, and it's just fantastic to hear the new ideas that are coming out of the logistic industry, and how they are, each country is, or company within their country is recovering and coming up with new creativity and ideas. until we get through this and our industry is kind of back to a new norm, if that was.
Now, when you, I mean, you think about this, you're talking about the process of recovery, right? So I'm sure there's been lots of discussions about, because yeah, as you know, when you go through a crisis, you know, it's first the anxiety of being in the crisis, and then it's trying to figure out what do we do, and trying to find our defense mechanisms come into place, and we start flailing, you know, and then it's how do we get out of this now? And that is where the recovery starts to come in play, and when we start to settle down and become mindful about this experience. So how do you see the logistics industry changing their business to this new normal that will become the way we operate?
I think actually it starts with your staff. You've got to empower your staff, because not only are the businesses, I think your staff are the most important. So I think you've got to start with the staff and you've got to empower them. So what we did in our company is we got one staff member following there's a neuro logistics, I think they call themselves, neuro leadership. So we got somebody following neuro leadership, and that's about how do we react to this kind of crisis, what emotions are going to come out of this, how are we going to recover, rebuild ourselves. And we've actually got somebody, he comes in every week and he follows the neuro leadership, and he tells us what we're going to be feeling and what we need to start doing so that we ourselves start to recover. And another staff member is following the safety. So above all, our new normal is we're going to be following new health and safety regulations. So it is worldwide what is coming out of the new health and safety regulations. What are people doing? What do we need to do? So slowly, every staff member is involved in something that they feel that they're part of the recovery process. And I think within your transport industry, well, sadly, we've got to wait for aeroplanes to start flying again and South African borders to open. But even within South Africa, you've got your transport system. And even that is really only moving with essential items. So at the moment, we can't move anything unless it's really an essential item and people are being safe. Your paperless, I think, is becoming even more important because nobody's signing or touching anything. So your technology's coming in. So I think at the moment it's really all about safety, and we all have to start gearing ourselves up to introduce all those safety mechanisms. And so we've got a staff member doing that. And then I'm covering what is going on economically and what is going to happen in the recovery process, is how is the rest of the world happening. For example, like UFI has started a recovery program, and I agree with you, if they can open shopping centers, then please open the exhibition industry, because actually we're more likely to know who's coming through and able to keep that distance than shopping centers. I was staggered. I kind of stopped at N1 City yesterday and I go, social distancing? It's a free for all. There's no social distancing. So I go, well, then if you're opening up the shopping centers, you have to open up the exhibition industry, because actually we're more able to control that environment than what they're doing in the shopping centers.
Yes, I mean, I think you will agree with me when I say that I think as an industry as a whole, we're already a very regulated industry as an exhibition industry. We're already very regulated. We have a lot of safety protocols already in place. So for us to adapt to these safety protocols isn't too much to ask. It will be an adjustment, but it will become part of our safety, our general safety rules. And I think the opportunity that we have in terms of registration, of every single person that comes into our venues, whether it's an exhibitor, an attendee, staff, logistics staff, all of those kind of things, we know exactly who's been, so we can be very vigilant in terms of tracking and tracing.
Exactly.
Now, how do you see you tailoring your logistics offering as an industry? Give me some examples of what you're thinking of right now.
So in fact, what we've done is we sat down as a company, well, actually over Zoom, and we said, what skills do each of us bring? And you really sit down and you go through what skills you're bringing to the table. And what can we do with those skills? So in fact, what we did, we're all professionals, and we decided we're going to launch the virtual exhibitor on-site program, whereby if you have an exhibitor, they want to exhibit, but they can't travel, or their company won't allow them to travel. So then we said, okay, fine, come and Zoom in with us. Tell us your marketing strategy. Tell us about your product. It's maybe a 1 to 2 hour session. We'll go build up your stand, or make sure that it's built, put it together. We'll go stand on your stand. We'll meet and greet your exhibitors, because actually you're not going to be swamped anymore. There's going to be control. So we'll be able to see everybody that's coming through. And if we find a potential buyer, it's very easy for us to do a Zoom session, and you can then actually close the deal at the exhibition. After the show, we'll give you a feedback. We'll give you all the contacts that we've had, and we'll give you a debrief and make sure that your stand is packed up and barricaded. And it may only just be for 6 months, and it may just be during a part when the industry needs to recover until we get back to a normal where people can travel to events as normal. So that's the service, that's one of the services that we've started. And we're excited. It's really going to, we think it's going to be very exciting. And there's enough professional people around to come in and do this with us.
Absolutely.
So that's where we've been heading.
Wow, that sounds amazing. Really, really does. I mean, that just shows you exactly, truly, how, when I've been doing a lot of reading and talking about how when you're in a crisis, how it galvanizes you to re-innovate and rethink and re-energize your offering. It takes you out of your comfort zone. And I mean, the example that you just presented now is exactly that. Again, I mean, it appeals in so many ways, because we're talking about the lack of our borders being open now. So how do we get internationals, exhibitors to come through? And this would be an amazing offering to bridge that gap.
Wow. So it may work. It may have a lifespan of 6 months or a year for amount of time, and that's fine until actually we can get back to the logistics. The staff are so excited because they just want to learn about new industries and go and go do something different within our framework. So they are really super excited. They can't wait for actually the exhibitions to open, that we can actually, we're really starting to make contact with the organizers and offer that service.
Yes. And I think, we looked at, I think we all looked with great disappointment when they announced that the churches would be allowed to be, and places of worship would be allowed to be open with under 50 people. And because, but then again, it is an opportunity for us in the next step of, and it could be on level 3 or level 2 as well, because maybe we can start having meetings of 50 people, and slowly, once we have that framework in place, then we can grow our numbers as well. Jacqui, how has there been any loss of staff and skills in the logistic industry? Have companies in your arena had to let go of staff or lay off staff during this point in time?
I think around the world, don't remember thinking that there's any one of us that have lost staff, because we're not a commercial company, a commercial clearing agent. We don't carry the heavy staff load that some of the commercial clearing agents carry. We're an exhibition agent, which is often a very, you have a small management team, but actually your infrastructure underneath is, and usually it's casual staff that are coming in. So worldwide, it's you working from a casual pool. So your casuals have been affected, most definitely. But I think for the exhibition companies, most of them, because we're small departments, I don't think any of us have lost staff, and we've been able to keep everybody. And I would say, most of us have a year plan that we can actually all survive. So as far as I know, I haven't heard of anybody in our industry losing staff.
That's an interesting point. And I mean, I'm curious, I've never asked the question before, but I would know on my shows that I organize. But for example, which is, I think, casual labor, the fact that you provide employment for so many casuals around the country is really, really amazing. So in a year, how many casual staff would you employ thereabouts approximately?
I would probably say about 75 to 100.
Wow.
Because we do about 80 events a year. So, yeah.
So no, I'm not talking about, so if you, per event, what would you equate that to?
So it depends on the size of the event. Some of the events, the bigger events, we probably have 15 staff, 10 to 15 staff on. Your internationals, medical congresses, we probably could be between 4 to 8 staff through the event.
Okay, so if you multiply that by the 80, you're talking about 75 people for the year, but they employ 80 times thereabouts.
Yeah.
If you look at it.
So, okay, caught me a bit off guard on that question. But yeah, so it is, I would, in a rough estimate, say that it is probably the same staff again. But if you take the number of days that they employed and the amounts, I think it will equate to a lot more than that.
Yes.
I'd have to do the numbers on
no
that.
problem.
Probably come up like about 5,000. I don't know, have to calculate it out. Yeah.
It definitely.
So actually, it's a lot. It keeps. I would say on average, we keep about 5 to 10 families almost permanently employed because they're working basically through the month. I'd say 5 to 10 of them are almost employed throughout the month. And then your bigger events, I would say maybe 4 or 5 of the bigger events, which then be additional staff coming in. Okay. So yes, they have been, they would have been hit hard by this.
Yes. And then, Jacqui, do you think going forward, obviously now we want to reinvent the wheel, we figure out what the needs are and provide solutions, and that's what you guys are. I mean, your ethos is about providing solutions to exhibition organizers and exhibiting companies. Do you think these current circumstances now means that your costs of your services are going to go up? Do you think?
I think definitely for air freight. I'm not sure what the airline's going to do. Sea freight, possibly not, because I think your ships are keeping relatively okay, but I think your air freight definitely is going to go up. Your transport rate, I think it also depends on the diesel. So within South African borders, I think the transport rate is going to go up. For us, the rest of our charges are pretty much going to stay the same. You know, you can't say because I've been in lockdown for 6 months, I'm suddenly going to double my costs. You can't do that. People are not, you're not going to be able to say that. You may be able to do it once, but you'll never get away with it again. So I think you really have to work hard in trying to keep your costs. And I think that being honest with your clients and actually saying, I'm so sorry, but because the air freight rate's gone up or because the transport rate's gone up, that's affecting your cost, and almost allow the rest of your costs to be pretty much similar. I know that we all have to recover and we've all had financial hits, but I think you really are not going to help the industry to get back into business again if you're going to make the costs too high. You'll really push us all out of business if the costs are becoming too high.
Absolutely.
It'll be interesting to see how the airlines deal with how they're going to manage their costs. That's going to be I think that's going to be the biggest factor of where cargo's going at the moment.
Yeah, and I mean, I like what you're saying here, and I think again that goes back to what we were talking about earlier in terms of us working together, and that communicating with your clients, that transparency, being
Yeah.
open and honest about things that have changed and that are beyond your control,
Yeah.
you're saying.
Yeah.
And we all want to get events and exhibitions going,
Yeah.
so that we can go back to normal again. And we
Yeah.
all have to work together in order to
Yeah.
get there, right?
Yeah.
So,
So,
Jacqui, what would you say, what is your outlook for the rest of the year? How do you think we should hang tight
yeah,
and make
sure.
it out of this? And no,
So,
you don't have a crystal ball, but it would be wonderful
sure.
to just know your feedback.
So I think, we might face challenges for the next 6 to 12 months, but I think that through this time, while you have kind of a downtime, is really to get creative and look at the skills that you have and say, where can I apply those skills in the new norm? Like I said, I follow a Gary V, who's an amazing motivator, and his philosophy is: can dream it, make it happen. Don't wait. The time is now to start making it happen. For he thinks that the big his mention was that the big corporates today actually started in bad times. So that's really positive. So I think, in the upcoming months, I think for suppliers, I think we're going to be really busy. And whilst we have the downtime now, we need to start planning already now, speed up our processes, change our thinking to a new way of thinking, and almost have a mini industrial revolution. So I think we really have to change our processes. And I think, whatever your norm, organizers are going to be changing. And I think it's a matter of being ready to change with you. Is that you are going to be facing challenges with your build-ups, your breakdowns during the show. And it's better of what can we do? We're here to assist, and how can we be of assistance to you? I might move boxes for a living, but actually I can do anything. So if it's supporting your team, if there's anything that you need done, we come in and support your team wherever we can, whatever you need to make it happen, and help you to get in as fast as possible.
Absolutely. Yeah, I mean, I think that's the one thing. You're so right when you talk about the assistance of freighting and logistics companies, and that is their ability to always be of assistance and always be ready to help in any challenge that we have. And that is really, really appreciated. And I suppose within these challenges lie the opportunities. Right. So I think we all look forward to those opportunities. And I think for the logistics industry and freighting, I think there is great opportunities that lie ahead, because I think you're going to be a much needed resource going forward. So we look forward to seeing the revival of the industry as a whole. And we look forward to seeing all the new offerings. Like you said, time to think. We have that time, and time to be proactive, right?
Yeah, absolutely, without a doubt. And it's just assisting anybody getting into the venue. It's it's really to be there and fill the gaps wherever they may be, or whatever they may look like.
Absolutely.
Yeah, be there and support.
Thank you so much, Jacqui. It's been wonderful chatting
with you. Thank you,
Really has been so insightful. I know we're all on different ends of the country, but it's wonderful that this time allows us to engage. And I think your insights will be well received by all our members. It's wonderful to have that positivity. And we look forward to seeing you on the floor with us sometime soon.
Lovely. Absolutely. Thank you, Virginie. Thank you for inviting me.
It's
really appreciate it.
So that, you, ladies and gentlemen, is Jacqui Nel. And Jacqui Nel, like I mentioned earlier, is the MD of Exhibition Freighting, and she is the chairperson of the industry Relations Working Group for IELA, the International Exhibition Logistics Association, and sharing our thoughts with us today. Do look forward to our upcoming Talking Point series with many other experts in the industry, and we're looking forward to celebrating our industry with you continually. So thank you very much for joining us.